Welcome, Jane Hoff with the Info 250 PLE assignment. What you see on your screen is my Symbaloo, which I created for this assignment. I did create this sometime earlier on in the semester, but it pretty much does show exactly what I visit on a daily basis. I'll go through a few of these interesting websites. First of all, up here in my left-hand corner it's organized with my schooling first, and below that is everything that would be applicable to research and maybe even some tools that have use in terms of creating new information to be disseminated to others, primarily my students or my colleagues in school or my colleagues in work. Up at the top, I also have my my regular education sources, so where I like to read a lot of articles. These websites are the best for me anyway. We have free Technology for Teachers, Edutopia, TechCrunch, Library Journal, and the New York Public Library blogs. There are quite a lot of different sources that I use for other information. Like Goodreads is always really nice for my students, as I am a middle school librarian, and a lot of the time my students ask me questions about books that I can refer to Goodreads for. I can find a Lexile to grade correspondence with this website here. And of course the Next Generation Science Standards, Common Core State Standards, and the AASL standards here, which I find very useful. We have three useful tools: Bubble.us, which is a mind map tool; Screencast-O-Matic, which I'm using currently; and Prezi, which tends to be useful for certain things. I've found a lot of other tools that I might even like better than Prezi. And down below here, there's more or less websites for fun, but they are also educational. They're a connection to human condition, human experience, like StoryCorps, This American Life, Humans of New York, Post Secret, TED Talks. These are all really useful to me, and I do regularly watch videos or listen to podcasts or read small little snippets that are posted every day for the purpose of kind of staying connected to the people that I serve. And it isn't necessarily just the students in my school that I feel I serve, but it is the world in general at large that I serve. We'll go to what I usually start my day with, which is Feedly. And you can see here that it's a news aggregator that provides me with all kinds of current articles. I have quite a lot of categories that I look at: cinema, culture, which is very thick, design, education, SEO, which is the search engine optimization. That I found very helpful in ways that apply to education, apply to my work as a librarian, because the ideas behind it are about the how technology is useful for the dissemination of information, and I tend to get a lot out of that one. I also have a former class which I used quite a lot because we were producing as blogs, as where we put our classwork. So I had that come into my Feedly account. Library, nature, photography, podcasts, politics, storytelling. There's quite a lot here that is very useful and interesting to me. The way I use it is usually I go through every day a series of new articles that are posted, and you can see here today there are quite a lot of new articles that have popped up. Some of them are interesting to me, some of them are not. And those that I find interesting, I usually read a blurb. We'll look at this one here. Alberta wildfires expected to double in size and burn for months. So I usually read the blurb and decide whether I want to save it for later. This I actually read earlier this morning, or at least some of it I read earlier this morning, so I don't need to save it. But if I were to save it, it would go into my saved for later pile, so I could reference it. There are a lot of different interesting articles here. This morning, I saved Would Math Scores Improve if Schools Taught Logic? They're quite a different group of saved material, and I can always go back to it if I want to. I use this not only on my home computer, I use it on my phone, and I also use it at work. I have one account that is attached to my home computer and my phone, and then a separate account that is attached to my work email address and my work computer. That one is primarily used for professional development information and things that would be relevant to my students in my library. I do let's go back to my Symbaloo. I do like a lot of the Edutopia articles. Those I've found incredibly useful. Free Technology for Teachers, I love that. That website. It gives a lot of up-to-date information on technology that I can help my teachers sort through. My teachers have a tendency to be kind of always behind the eight ball, and I like to help them out as much as possible. I do find that what I bring to my students is usually from TED Talks, StoryCorps, or This American Life. Occasionally maybe Humans of New York or Post Secret, and those are usually based on connections to the human experience and human condition. I'm particularly interested in TED Talks because you can have a variety of different ideas that you bring about to your kids. We'll look at the TED Talks. You can look through and find things that are of great interest for your students, and you can also limit it in time. And I think for middle school, I think 6 to 12 minutes is usually a pretty good filter. I can always put in topics, and let's see if we have anything. So yeah, there are quite a lot on empathy. But I would go through and choose some that would be best for my students, show them, and use that as a tool for starting discussion and getting new ideas. I haven't really been able to do that lately at school because we're in the middle of testing, and that's preoccupied everyone's time. But that is one thing that I like to do with my students, is to focus them on a small snippet of information that they can think about and respond to almost immediately. It works really well, especially because it's in a video platform. I also am working on StoryMap.js right now. You can see the ones that I've created. So I just finished up my Witches in Literature for my Info 237 class, and we can actually take a look at it. I'll make my screen larger so that you can see. And it is a fairly interactive map application, story map application that allows written words to be connected to an actual map. So that is one thing that I've been working on lately. And I've also been working on my WordPress blog, which I have quite a few of. The most important ones that I've been working with lately is the Helpful Librarian. I can take a look at that one, which is I use for my school. And sorry, let me view the site. So for my teachers and my students, I use this to send information, give people interesting topics to look at and listen to. And I also have book suggestions. And this is an ongoing blog. A lot of interesting books and takes on books for students as well as teachers. So that's one of my blogs. And then I also have my Closing the Gap blog, which is a blog that sorry about that. It is a blog that discusses the socioeconomic status of students and how it impacts academic achievement. And this one I worked on with other students, but it is something that I continuously work on. You can see here that I have several, I think, well over a dozen posts regarding the subject of socioeconomic status and its effects on academic achievement in students. And that is an ongoing process. I also have another blog that I work on that is primarily about technology and 21st century skills. So this one is really useful in terms of my bringing it forward to my students, dealing with things like beacon technology and whatnot. So that's 3 of the websites that I post on not websites, my blogs that I post on regularly. And I can close these out. And I think that's about it. I do a lot of conversation with my my colleagues through email. However, I find that there's a lot of the information that I get from my colleagues, my teaching staff at my school, is I really have to kind of pull it out of them. They're usually so busy or so disinclined to actually have any professional conversation that it's not as rich as I would hope. However, if I start the conversation, I tend to get a little farther with them. But anyway, that's my personal learning environment. I have quite a lot of stuff to share, but I think that probably will do for now. Thank you so much for listening.